Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and our WrestleMania episodes are always big, and I'm excited to talk WrestleMania. But first off, we got a big weekend ahead. Um, the Royal Rumble is this weekend. We don't have to do like a whole show preview because it's been very woefully underpromoted. Over here, it's going to air at 11 a.m., which is very different. But let's just do like this. Give your predictions on who's going to win the men's and women's Rumble. We'll start with you, Kyle. Who's going to win?
What's going on? I'm gonna go with for the women, either Bianca Belair or Liv Morgan. Surprise Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan. For the men, either Braun Breaker or Sami Zayn pulling a Becky Lynch, getting screwed over, and then getting back into the Rumble and winning the Rumble to then go to WrestleMania and then f fight either Drew or a big fatal four-way with this thing going on with the Jacob and Cody and Drew and all that.
Interesting, intriguing. Okay, Pratik, welcome to the show. Your Royal Rumble predictions.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, for the women's rumble, I'm thinking either Liv Morgan or Bailey. Dark horse favorite Bailey could come through. You know, she needs a big victory right now. She's kind of been floating along. I think a rumble victory could be good for her. On the men's side, I don't think Roman needs the win, but I also know the Saudis have a lot of influence, and I know Saudis have been pushing for like a bigger name, so I could see possibly Roman winning. I think personally, I'd rather see like a Braun Breaker or a Trick Williams win. I would prefer Braun or Trick, but I feel like the Saudis want a bigger name, and so they might push for Roman. Um, and then real quick, I do want to say that I just have this strong feeling. I think the way they've been building up this AJ Styles retirement thing, he's most likely going to lose to Gunther on Saturday. I just feel like if he wins, then it kind of negates Gunther's big push right now and how he's, it kind of negates the big John Cena victory. I think they're trying to push Gunther as this unstoppable force. AJ's been having all these quote unquote retirement matches, and they've been amazing. Uh, I just feel like, yeah, you can have AJ retire if you want him to come back for a one off at TNA. You could do that too if you really want to. But yeah, I feel like AJ's losing on Saturday.
Okay. Kyle, do you think AJ is going to lose? Then I'll give my predictions for the Rumble. I think he's going to lose. I agree with Pratik and all that.
I think so too. I think it's not they're not gonna do the drawn out 1 year thing, which would be nice, but they just did it. I think AJ just wants to be done. Either there's something we don't know, like he knows like he does not have a year left in him, so he just wants to end it like now, or he's just not gonna renew or become like a coach or something. I know there's a lot of people who want him to join AEW, which I think would give AEW a real big shot in the arm. Could he do the schedule of 30-minute collision and dynamite matches every week? Sure, but I don't think that's gonna happen unless they throw him a godly amount of money.
I don't think he's going to go to AEW. I think that he's seen what they've done with Edge and other big names, and he's got limited amount on his bump card, and he's not going to waste it on Ace Austin on a Wednesday night in front of 100 people. He's just not going to do it, which is, you know what I'm saying? At this point in his life and his career, maybe 10 years ago or 2019, if Vince tells him to go fuck himself, sure, he'd go there. But Tony's not going to do. You get AJ Styles, he's got to go right against Kenny Omega. He's got to go in a tag match against the Bucks. He's got to go against. He's got to go against MJF. He does not have it in him to wrestle Ace Austin and some of these other guys. Fucking Josh Alexander for 40 minutes on Collision. But Tony's gonna book that, and then if AJ gets injured, wrestling John Silver on fucking Collision, and then he has to really retire, like, I just think that's like, well, that was a waste of my time. It's like my body, I have only a limited amount of time with my body until I can't do this. And I'm not, and I know Tony's going to want me to wrestle John Silver. I just, that's just his MO. Like this Ace Austin match tonight with John Moxley, it's a waste of Moxley. It's a waste.
I think what they're trying to do with Moxley is kind of like the open challenge, not to compare to WWE, but like an
Mhm.
open challenge, just kind of give everyone an opportunity. Since that was like his original thing in the beginning, we were talking about trying to find like the best of AEW when they started like the Death Riders. I think it's going to be a slow burn until they all turn on him. I don't know when that's going to happen,
That should have
but
happened. That should have happened. You can't slow burn like no one's gonna care what's it. It should have happened at the collision, whatever they call it, the collision cup, the communist cup. I don't know, whatever.
The
Yeah, they're like
Continental
feuding.
Classic, I think that's it.
Yeah, they're feuding with the Don Callis family. I think they're gonna turn the Death Rider's face to then turn them heel again. What I think is going on.
Yeah, but my whole point is like Edge went over there. They had Edge fighting Masaru Suzuki, and Edge has
Well,
not
that
had.
one's not bad.
Yeah, but Edge hasn't had a singles match with Page, with MJF, or with Omega.
Yes,
Or
And
Omega,
yes.
yeah.
you've
Or
had this
Osprey.
how many years now? And it's like I
And
don't.
there's
It's
the big rumor that I don't know if it's just like a Facebook rumor or a real rumor, but that this year's Wrestle Dream that Edge is gonna be done.
I
Like I've seen
mean,
it pop up a couple of times.
I, I mean, at this point, if I was Edge, I'd let this contract run out and then retire in WWE and like I'd let Walter retire
He
me.
comes
Uh,
back just to get beat by
Just in
Gunther
this.
I mean, I think it's a better use of him than I
at
don't know.
at
It's
Backlash Toronto.
what they waited for. What they waited for with Adam Edge. It's like Edge Kenny Omega is that's a main event like in 2020. I don't know that it's a main event anymore now because you like and he devalues people the way he books and it's like come on man. The only reason to have Edge is to have some of these more Edge and Christian versus Young Bucks. That should have been that's a no brainer. Never happened.
A lot of slow
He
builds.
also got injured. Like again, like
Yeah,
that's my fear with AJ. You mentioned like he did that unnecessary spot with Malachi Black. Like, what are you doing jumping off the cage like that? Like that was just it was
that was
unnecessary.
pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Tony doesn't know how to say no to people and I think the same thing might happen with AJ Styles that he injures himself before we get these marquee matches because Tony's going to be cute and have him fucking wrestle Wheeler Yuta at Wrestle Dream, and it's like, and it's not going to do anything for Wheeler Yuta because Darby Allin, CM Punk did nothing for Darby Allin. CM Punk, Matt Sydal. I mean, CM Punk said it best. I wasted a lot of my bump card on people I shouldn't have been wasting my bump card on. Bobby Fish, Matt Sydal, and Daniel Garcia. Those are three of them right there. That that those. Why is CM Punk wrestling those guys? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, come on, you know. You
I
never had
feel
CM Punk
for
wrestle Kenny Omega. You never had CM Punk wrestle fucking out of Mox. No, he wrestled Moxley. I'm sorry, like
Wrestle
Jericho
Mox.
to catch up. There's so many people that CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, they never even like. There's so many people that CM Punk could have interacted with, and you just didn't. And you're wasting this guy's body on Daniel Garcia, and that's not a waste if you do something with Daniel Garcia or Matt Sydal. But does Matt Sydal even still work there?
I think he's injured right now.
So it's like, come on. It's like I don't see AJ Styles going there. I think like this is it, and I think AJ's body's worse off than he lets people know. John Cena kind of revealed that on Chris Van Vliet. There was a segment where he was like, people don't understand what I have to do to get ready for the match and what I have to do when it's done. And he's 47, and he basically can sign autographs and do podcasts where he complains about AEW and make really good money sitting on his ass like
There,
Jim Cornette.
there you go. Phenomenal with AJ Styles coming to WWE on Fanatics.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's plenty of ways for him to make money without crippling himself, and I think this is a good way to go out. He's had, look, you know what? Also, Kyle, now that AEW is 7 years in, I think that's made AJ's TNA career even more impressive because AJ Styles, when we get to them, because I do want to review the weekly pay per views. I ordered the first one, and it was horrible. The first TNA weekly pay per view. That's where Ken Shamrock wins the belt, right? Then I
Hmm.
ordered the second one out of like because I just wanted another WCW, right? This is 2002. I ordered the second one. And AJ Styles proceeds to have the match of the year of 2002. And then a week later, AJ Styles has the match of the year again in 2002. AJ Styles basically saved TNA. He carried that company on his back. And no matter how bad it got, no matter how bad Russo got or Hogan got or Eric Bischoff got, when he got in the ring, he delivered a must see match. He never lost his cool. He never lost being over. And now seeing how some of these AEW guys just like flounder and lose whatever made them special with the horrible booking. What AJ Styles did in TNA and then what he goes on to do in New Japan WWE, I mean, the guy's one of the all-time greats. I mean, this guy basically he kept other companies afloat where people could find work when there was no other work. Lives are ruined when WCW goes out of business, and the only reason why TNA exists to this day, and I don't care give a fuck what anyone says, is because of AJ Styles and the work he put in. Because I wanted to stop giving them my money time and time again, and I didn't because I wanted to see AJ Styles, and then I wanted to see Samoa Joe. But AJ Styles is the reason why even AEW is around. So I mean, come on, he's one of the greatest careers of all time. What do you think, Kyle?
I mean, I think he was definitely, if not the face, a huge face of AEW. TNA. I remember when I started watching TNA, I got into AJ Styles. I got into Ring of Honor because some friends, besides just seeing some stuff online, were like, "Oh, you want to go to this Ring of Honor show in Connecticut? AJ Styles is going to be there." So I'm like, "AJ Styles versus like Jay Lethal. I know these names." And then you see the rest of the guys: Nigel McGuinness, Bryan Danielson, Curry Man, who I actually got to see live, and it was awesome. I think AJ Styles was definitely like the glue that held them together for all the Stings, the Jarretts, the Christians, the Rhinos, all that stuff. AJ Styles was the person that just held it down and held it together. And you saw that when he left. When he left TNA, they were kind of in shambles for a while. I can't even tell you what
To this
happened
day,
in those not to this day that some would argue to this
yeah.
day. I can't tell you what happened in TNA until like oh, I think like the Bully Ray putting what's her name through a table, Dixie Carter, all the Aces and Eight stuff started happening. But he was the guy who like held it down. So to lose him, and then he also brought interest to New Japan and Ring of Honor. Not so it's not solo, but was a big interest from someone saying, "Oh, AJ Styles is in Japan. I want to check that out." That's how I found out about the Bullet Club. I was at Ring of Honor and I saw Bullet Club at Hammerstein, and I was like, "AJ Styles is doing this with these guys." I knew names, but I was like, "Oh, these guys are cool." Like watching them at Ring of Honor because of AJ Styles. So he definitely has had a career. For someone who does not get a lot of credit for like his charisma and his promos, he definitely brings people in. Just it's just a charismatic individual. So it's gonna be really sad when he's gone, and it's just a wonderful career. He's done it all. Except be AEW champion, but I don't think he wants that.
No, no, we're good. He had to like carry a shitty company on his back for his first half of his career. Let him enjoy his life. Critique your thoughts on AJ with TNA.
Yeah, AJ. I mean, that was again like yeah. The when I did check in with TNA, it was like either Sting, but mostly I was just really into the X division. And AJ Styles really he brought interest in it, and also it's that thing of it didn't matter where he went, he got over. When he first got to WWE, he was they were going to just keep him at the mid card, but he just naturally got himself over because he is that type of talent. And he also like I know people don't talk about his promos, but he doesn't need to have this big powerful promo because he just oozes. We talk about the intangibles. We talk about that it factor. He would have these like promos, but it didn't matter. He was just so charismatic naturally. He didn't need this big fantastic promo. And then the work speaks for itself. So yeah, I was always a big AJ Styles fan. I think it was amazing when he went to. It definitely came out of nowhere. I didn't know about the WWE signing, so it was great. And again, like to go from like Japan to it was a natural progression. TNA, Japan, then WWE. So yeah, he's had a fantastic career. I don't think he needs to prove anything else to anybody. I think he should go out in his terms. It is kind of a full circle moment to me if he goes out this weekend. I'm also not opposed to if he does do. I know there've been talk of him doing one more match in TNA. Maybe that's the thing, or if he just goes out Saturday, it really doesn't matter. He's had the career. It works. Work speaks for itself. I don't think he needs to go to AEW. I don't even think that many internet wrestling fans really want to see it. I think people are just talking out their ass. I don't think it's necessary at this stage of the game. He went to Japan. He did what he needed to do. I think it's time to just go out on your terms, and Saturday is the perfect platform for it.
I think if he had one more match after this, the only match I would want him to have as of now, and because of how much it means for TNA, would be Frankie Kazarian Slammiversary,
That
because
was
that's the anniversary of when Slammiversary obviously is the anniversary of TNA. It'll be I don't know how many years. I think 23. Yeah, 2022. It's 2000. No, it's 24 years. 24-year anniversary of the company opening. So if he has like an epilogue match, I would almost call it my epilogue, and maybe you could put the belt back on Frankie, and you have AJ retires the for good as a TNA champ. That's the only other match I would want him to have. Him and Frankie Kazarian. It's the main eventing Slammiversary. I think you could sell out a major arena with that main event. You know, Kyle?
Yeah, it'd be AJ Styles' last match, and I think people would come out to see it. I don't know how many years Frankie Kazarian has left, so they would both have to last
Wait, for him to
another
go.
couple of years for that to happen, especially to make like the 25th anniversary, or you can just do it at 24th. I don't think
I
anyone's
think
gonna complain.
yeah, do it at 24. Then for 25th, you can have Samoa Joe come back and wrestle Moose.
I think he's in a contract year as well. I mean, I think they probably added injury time, but
Yeah,
look, I don't see Samoa Joe going anywhere outside of AEW. He's been fired from WWE like 4 times,
Yeah,
so I wouldn't go back either. But
yeah,
he might be
yeah.
at the end of his run too.
Frankie and AJ have such a history, and I know people. I'm also kind of, but I think that would be a great way for Frankie too to retire too. Like that would be such a great way and such a way to like pay tribute to the history of TNA. Because at this point now, people like to go LOL TNA, or I see Dave Bixby going TNA shouldn't even exist. I'm like, relax. TNA's got a longer history than a lot of companies that we all fucking blow. Like I'm talking WCW, ECW, and fucking like world class wrestling. All right, like it's got a long history, and they've had some great matches. And Frankie Kazarian and AJ Styles is of team ups and rivalry, of like along with Christopher Daniels. I don't know. It means something to me. I mean, this thing has been around for a long fucking time. To just be dismissive of it, I think is kind of fucking stupid. Because what have you done for not you, Kyle, but like what have you done for 20 fucking years, 24 years that has lasted? So like, I think sometimes you should celebrate. You should celebrate and have AJ and Frankie wrestle. You know.
I mean, they're trying. They're still here. They did their last couple of shows. They taped some more. I think they had like a their rating. AMC seems to be happy right now, so hopefully they just keep growing.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna give my Rumble predictions. I think that they should strike out with the new. They need a hook for WrestleMania, and they don't have it yet. I don't know what the hook is, but I would say that this is a rebuilding year. I think, um, and I think you need to, like you did in '95, put at '93, push a new guy and say this is the guy, and I'm going to go with this. The men's Rumble, I'm giving it to Dominic Mysterio. That's who I'm going to give it to. I say he's going to win. The women's Rumble, again, I'm going to go now the new person, but now this person is the person. I'm going to go with Jordan Grace. And my match at WrestleMania will be Jordan Grace versus Jade Cargill. On the women's side, you can do some shit with Rhea or AJ or what have you over on that side, but I would have Jordan win and do Jordan Jade at WrestleMania. Those are my things. Build up those two as and establish them as top stars in 2026.
Yeah, those are definitely real building. I mean,
former
Dominic,
TNA.
yeah, former TNA Women's Champion. I think the issue with Jordan Grace is that she's just no, and it's been that way for the whole year NXT. I think she just has not gotten that over, and I don't think it's her. I think her presentation, similar to the Guns, is just kind of lacking something. Not that anyone expected the Guns to be main eventers. Like the music change, first of all. I know you can't use the TNA music all the time. Whatever music she has now fucking sucks. Like it tells you nothing about her, and she's a cool person. She it's has some weird like I always win, and then just generic rock music. And you don't always win. You lose matches, so it doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't help her at all, and like they don't really showcase her as like a powerhouse. Like she's the juggernaut, but they don't showcase her as a powerhouse. She's like having struggling against Alba Fire, who is a great wrestler, but if Jade Cargill is this beast, make Jordan Grace this beast, so then you're also like, okay, it's gonna be like two beasts fighting each other. And I think they've had this issue since they had her in NXT because that's when they picked up Stephanie and Julia, and they had too many people to worry about. So if they put the actual like energy behind Jordan Grace and please change that music, I think that would be great.
They're very nervous, Tony and Triple H, to push someone like Goldberg was pushed. And what I mean by that is just have them steamroll people. I think they want everyone to learn how to go back and forth so that they can all become like clones of Seth Rollins and Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles and shit. And it's like, no, like what makes AJ Styles special is that there's only one of him, and what makes Goldberg special is only one of him, and that's why we like wrestling. And I think some people, Jordan Grace and Wardlow, I'm talking about, should be pushed like Goldberg. They should be treated as unstoppable monsters, and I don't need them to go back and forth with Alba Fry or fucking I don't know who they had Wardlow going back and forth with. I guess Darby Allin, you know.
And when you get to that point, you can have that good match with Alba Fire. But if you're establishing her and she's having trouble with Alba Fire, you're like, Alba Fire, who is a great wrestler, but on in WWE canon can't beat BFAB. Like, what is the issue here? So they gotta do more with these people.
So, interesting weekend. I had a friend be like, "I'm not watching this Rumble. This is the Rumble. I'm glad that I'm skipping." And I'm watching it. It's 11 a.m. here. I got my cousin who wants to see it. I'm gonna watch it with her. I do think though it's odd. There's not a lot of hype going into this Rumble. Raw has been a lot better since they've been letting CM Punk cook in the ring the last few weeks. It's been much better than 2025. But I'm gonna watch the Rumble to watch the Rumble. But I have to agree with people that like the hype just isn't there. And I don't know. I mean, like, there's been past rumbles I'm frothing at the mouth to see it, and now it's just like, well, it's that time of year again. It almost feels like Christmas. Oh, I'm going to go see my family and open gifts and have dinner. You got to do it on this day, and that's kind of what the rumble feels like to me. What about you? I'll start with you, Pratik. How do you feel?
Yeah, like I feel like the AJ Styles Shinsuke match, I was more excited for that. I've been more excited with these run of AJ matches. I've been more excited for these CM Punk matches. I mean, people can say, "Oh, Punk hasn't defended the belt," but like this year, he's been cooking with like 3 or 4 matches plus house show loops because they do the European tour leading up to this Saudi Arabia pay-per-views. So like Punk's been putting in the work. You know, I know some people were like, "Why are they giving the belt to him? Why didn't he lose to Braun Breaker on January 5th or 6th or whatever the fuck?" But it's like, no, he's a fighting champion. He's a defending champion. He's making people look good. The Raw has been amazing this year. Raw is almost more exciting right now. And then the AJ match out of nowhere wasn't billed, wasn't anything like. No, you tune in. I don't know if they were trying to like get that like third hour like increase. Or I'm wondering how they're measuring like the metrics of Raw on Netflix because you know how Netflix never releases those. So, but maybe WWE knows. So maybe they were just trying for like a last minute boost or whatever. But yeah, I'm more excited for Raw than this Rumble. Although I am excited for the AJ match. Also, Sammy and Drew. Let's see. Sammy seems to get love from the Middle East. It was funny because for a while he was banned from Saudi Arabia. He couldn't wrestle there. So to see that kind of turn organically, because there is like Syrian and Saudi Arabian conflict, but to see Sammy get over in that country and now they're kind of pushing him as sort of his Middle Eastern face, and let's see what happens with that. I don't know if he's going to beat Drew, but I think it'll be a good show for them, good match. And yeah, like you said, Ray, I always get excited for Rumble time. Even if I'm not super hyped for the people in it, I am excited because it seems like there's new blood. But let's see. Oh, and also Obafemi, I'm thinking he's going to have a good showing too because he didn't lose in NXT before he left. So like I'm thinking maybe he'll beat like the Rumble elimination thing of like 13 eliminations, or either he has like a good showing or maybe he lasts like most of the match. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good mix of new and old stars. Let's see. I'm trying to stay optimistic. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. You got to be optimistic about these things. Killer Kyle Lewis, your thoughts?
I think it's gonna be a sleeper show. I think it's that definitely has not been as exciting as other years. Like I think it's the Saudi Arabia of it all. And this isn't me getting on Saudi Arabia. I'm saying this because I want to stay alive. But you just know that it's a different time and all the women are in like the big
Oh
bodysuits
yeah.
and stuff. And like, it just like, okay, you just know what to expect. And that's their culture, fine. But it just doesn't hit the same, at least for me as an American. But I think the show's still going to be good. They're gonna have surprises. I know Triple H claims they're gonna be surprises, but Saudi Arabia likes their legends. I mean, I think they might like rely on the legends they have, like bringing like a Booker T or Hurricane backstage, like some of the road agents coming in to do some Royal Rumble spots. I know people had a rumor about Paige because she like changed the booking. So maybe like things like that. Of course, the Jericho rumors have been swirling for months now. So I think you're gonna have some exciting moments. I think guys like Obafemi, Javon Evans are gonna have good showings. Carmelo Hayes, if he's in it, Braun Breaker. On the women's side, Julia, anybody else? I don't know. Chelsea Green. They gave Chelsea Green like she's gaining some steam as well. She had a match against Jade Cargill, got destroyed, but like briefly, like the crowd was like into like Chelsea Green. So they can tell some fun stories in the Rumble if they do it correctly. As for the world title picture, I think whatever they're doing with this they've set it up that if Drew gets screwed again, it's his own fault because he messed up with Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes, and then Sami Zayn gets a big win in a country that loves him, or Sami Zayn gets screwed because of Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu's anger towards Drew. Like so they set that up. So there's gonna be stuff to like pay attention to and be exciting, but it just hasn't been pushed as strongly.
You also have to consider that the Roman Reigns of it all. He's not.
Yeah, he's barely mentioned right now. They did the two videos.
We're talking about CM Punk. I want CM Punk, Dominic Mysterio. You guys talking about a fatal four way with Sami Zayn, Jacob Fatu, Cody. I don't think it's that simple. I think Roman is getting into one of these sagas. I don't think Roman's just going to be settling down with Braun Breaker to open the show. He's going to somehow get into the world title picture. Something's going to happen with him at the Rumble. I don't know what they're going to do. I will say this. I think that if Gunther retires AJ Styles, Gunther Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I mean, that's the only use of Brock Lesnar that I see any use of at this point with him. Gunther's got to
Well, the
fucking.
rumor is that the I signed Bret Hart. So that SummerSlam is at Minnesota, right? So they might do either a blow off there. Maybe they do a best of three between the two.
Nah, I would just do it at WrestleMania. I would just do it at WrestleMania. It's over. It's time to move on with our lives.
There's no way they're gonna not have Brock Lesnar at the Minnesota SummerSlam.
He could come out
A
like,
good place for him to go out too is Minnesota.
He's gonna go out and do what Stone Cold did. We have a large attendance.
you know what they could do? You know what they could do? They could do the Hall of Fame in the summer and not WrestleMania weekend, and have Brock get inducted in the Hall of Fame.
They could, but I don't think I think people want to see him beat people up. I don't care. Oh, actually, with the way the world is, we don't know what's gonna happen in Minnesota in 8 months. So who knows? Do it
Oh
now.
God, I didn't even. Yeah.
The Pirate WrestleMania. I mean, at least me and Pratik will be there. You know,
I'm not going to Minneapolis. I
give him.
support Minneapolis.
I support them. Not enough. I want it. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not going to it right now.
I think we can agree, though, guys. I think we can agree that if only Sabu wrestled Gunther in his retirement match, he'd still be with us.
All right. See,
Hey,
you always all right. Let's
that was a match though.
we were do
I'd never
we were
seen Sabu
doing.
live. That was it was a match to watch. It was unforgettable.
So there you go. Thanks to GCW. All right, let's go back to when things made sense. March '98. This show, and I thought this at the time, and I'm gonna say it now. This show was a fucking statement. This show is basically like, I'm done fucking around. It's over. It's over for everybody but me, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I'm done fucking around. WrestleMania is a big deal. You're gonna fucking treat it like it's a big deal, and I'm the number one company, and you're gonna go out of business, and that's just the way it is. Um, I rewatched the Austin McMahon segment from the next night um, on Internet Archives, and Vince. I didn't realize he said this in the promo, but Vince says to Austin, when he goes the easy way or the hard way, he goes, the hard way is, well, you're just gonna wind up doing things my way anyway. Let's face it. No matter how long it takes, you're just gonna do things my way. So we might as well just do the easy way. And I felt like that was a message to everyone in wrestling. You're just gonna have to do it my way anyway. So you might as well just shut it. You might as well shut AEW down. I mean, I'm sorry, WCW down today. this was a statement. This and the Raw next night was a statement like it's over. I'm back, bitches. Kyle, what did you think of this show?
It was definitely the final ushering of the old and bringing in the new, even with like the classic promos where you have like Freddie Blassie and Gorilla Monsoon. Like, I never climbed the top rope, but we're gonna support these guys. Like that propaganda stuff. Um, Little jarring to use the Linda McMahon WrestleMania music with such a edgy version of WWE. I guess they just didn't care at that time.
This was the
Uh,
last
no, it's
watch
the
it.
last time you hear it until like SmackDown, one of the SmackDown versus Raw, Santino sings it. If it, that's a fun Easter egg. But yeah, it would besides that, it's definitely like, hey, this is new. Even when we start the beginning of the show, you're like, hey, LOD is dead. This is LOD 2000. And then like it just kind of goes from there. But this was definitely the kickoff. The Attitude Era already started, but this is the hard launch of the Attitude Era.
This is I've got my groove back. This is what it felt like to me. This is like because I got to be honest with you, the WrestleManias 9 through 13, even though 13 is my favorite match of all time, they don't feel like WrestleManias. They feel like remember when this was a big deal? It's not a big deal anymore. Like I remember when I wrestled. I rented 13 before 14 came out, and I'm like, what happened to WrestleMania? This used to be like a massive deal. This was like, and this just feels like a fucking episode of Superstars. And this is where the feeling is back. The groove is back. Like, oh yeah, this is a big deal again. This is and they never lose it. I don't think there's ever been a WrestleMania now where it feels like it's just a house show. The matches may stink and the finishes may be awful, but it never. It does not. It always feels like this is something's happening here. This is a big deal. You know. Which is
WrestleMania 29. I'll say that.
oh yeah, but that look at but they had shows around. They had a Hall of Fame. It was all
Yeah, yeah, but the show. Uh,
but still, you rewatch it, it feels like a big deal. Pratik, your thoughts?
Yeah, this felt like a changing of the guard. It felt like a new era, and yeah, it felt like compared to you mentioned 9 through 13. Yeah, like certainly there were good matches on each of those, but this felt like the whole card. It felt like there was attention and detail to the entire card. It felt like a super card. Felt like a big money card. It felt like like you said, Vince got his groove back. It felt like a throwback, a bit of a throwback too, but still it felt like a new era too. If you can understand that, like it felt like yeah, like Vince really like no, we're gonna go all in. You know, we're gonna put all our eggs in this basket. And yeah, and you also amplified new stars as well. It wasn't just we're using some older talent, but we're also signifying that there is some new. We're making new stars as well, which I think that's my concern with. We just talked about the Rumble and we talked about this coming Mania. Like that's my fear is how do you make these new stars? You have these great talent. How do you build them up? And that's what this Mania represents is you're building up these, you're seeing the rise of The Rock. You're seeing the rise of Austin. You're seeing the rise of all these people. So that's how I feel about this Mania.
I think to start to review, I think the big thing for me as a kid, and I noticed it again today, was the acknowledgement. This is the first time they acknowledge in a positive manner Hulk Hogan. And you're like, well, who cares about that? And I'll tell you why I cared about that as a kid, because it was insulting to me, even when I was like 12 or 13, for these new generation promos to act like Hulk Hogan sucked and Roddy Piper sucked and the whole thing was a big fucking waste of time. And you're an old man if you like something that happened 2 years ago when I was 10. And kind of killed my love for WWF. And it's like, no, like, what are you talking about? and and they almost were like were embarrassed of the Hogan years for a long time. And finally in the opening package does a great job being like this is a new era, but also like it's still connected to the old era. And this belt inspired Bruno, Andre, Hogan, and it's like oh you're finally acknowledging that Hogan mattered and like yes that Hogan, the Hogan from the '80s, I want him back. And like you're acknowledging that was a great that he's part of this saga. You know what I'm saying? And you're not like being like, oh, he sucks, he's old, and no, it's like it all was awesome. Since the '70s to today, it's awesome. And I really that to me, that gave me confidence back in the WWF. You know? Kyle, what do you think?
it's something that they kind of shy away from as much as possible now. They've gotten better at it over the past few years since Triple H and them taking over. but they'll leave out anyone like the Bryans, the Jerichos, the Edges, the people who aren't in, well, they're not on a Hogan level in terms of success. They leave them out. They used to more, like Sasha Banks. I know they did like a big like list of NXT champions, I think last year, and they left out Sasha Banks and Mandy Rose and people like that. So sometimes they get like picky. And
Yeah.
in this case, they're like, nope, this is our history and we're acknowledging all of it. And I wish they did that more. I'll give Michael Cole credit. Michael Cole usually says somebody's name or for the most part will mention something. Instead, I remember it just came back. He mentioned like Sting's retirement, and then I remember Pat McAfee was like, epic match last night. And they're just like they had to cut the mic real quick because that was not on WWE programming. But no, they definitely did a good job acknowledging here.
Stuff like that is why I like Pat McAfee because like he can get away with that. Can
Yeah,
you imagine?
Corey Graves would have been in AAA so fast.
Can you imagine Jerry Lawler in like 2000? Yeah, no, not 1998, being like, "What a great match DDP had last night." You never see him again. Never
He'd
see
be
him again.
gone by the commercial break.
Suddenly, police find evidence that he is 127% a pedophile.
Yeah.
Officer, I have these files. Have you heard of a Jeffrey Epstein?
No,
Uh,
no. I heard there was that Tom, not Tom Green, does WCW Deep Cuts. Art Barr came in as the juicer back in 1991 WCW. He was supposed to be like a Beetlejuice character for the kids. Weird gimmick, but a newspaper published that he was a convicted rapist. He led he a 19-year-old girl. He pled guilty and everything. And they said that there was a bunch of faxes from a Connecticut number to let people know, to let all authorities know that, like, hey, this guy is a rapist. So WWE is not above doing that, or Connecticut number is not above doing that when they need to.
yeah, yeah. I think though, ultimately, I mean, Art Bar died, but I'm wondering whatever.
I mean, I don't know.
You don't need him.
He's
I
not here
mean,
anymore, but
you'll still like hear people be like, "Oh, if Art Bar lived, he would have been like the big star." And it's like, well, if he was raping girls, then we don't really need him. So, listen,
yeah,
because
kind of hard to feel sympathy for that.
exactly, like, come on. All right, so let's forget about Art Bar because what did he ever do for us? About this show. So the opening match of this show. Oh, by the way, on Netflix they take out the Chris Warren band doing "America the Beautiful." As
Oh, was that out on Peacock?
that no, it's not on Netflix.
No, I mean, I
It
thought
was
they
on
just took
Peacock
that out in
before.
general. It was on Peacock before.
Oh, it was okay. It was on
I
my VHS tape.
Yeah, I thought they took it out of like those versions because people hated it. I remember it was like panned.
I liked it. I thought it was to me it's like we're changing. Like we're not going to do this like, oh, I love America bullshit. Like it's I liked it. I wish it was still there, but whatever. It's not the end of the world. Okay. So the opening match, it's a tag team battle royal. Everyone's already in the ring. Nobody, a couple of people don't get entrances at this WrestleMania, and that's gotta suck. Like the Rock and Roll Express, like they look back. Were you guys ever WrestleMania? Yeah, but we didn't get an entrance. Like we just kind of like stood there for like most of the match. And same thing with Taka's match. His opponent doesn't get a fucking entrance, and it's like that's gotta suck. Um, but LOD 2000 comes out now. Back in '98, I thought this was great. I thought Sonny looked incredible. Looking at it now, you don't fucking change Superman's costume. You don't tell Steve Austin to grow hair, and you don't fucking make Hawk look like a badger, okay? Because that's what he looks like. Um, Battle Royale's good. It's kind of fun to see all these guys you never thought had a WrestleMania match having one, like Chains and the Truth Commission. They actually got to wrestle at WrestleMania, Rock and Roll Express, the new Midnight Express. LOD wins. This was a good for me. This was a good as a kid. This was a good launching point for the Legion of Doom. Nowadays, it was like, all right, these guys got checks. It's kind of a fun little battle royal. It's a fun little way to start. LOD's still over. They tried their best to bury them. The crowd is still chanting LOD. It was fun. I'm glad that the Truth Commission got a payday. What did you think, Kyle?
It was a little chaotic. I remember loving LOD 2000. Sony was a big part of that. When I saw it when I was younger, it was a great costume that they made a Jax figure of. But they came out, they had the new look, they won, Bright Team won. The match was chaotic. I remember like Mark Henry's in there, but D'Lo Brown's like eliminated like 5 minutes ago. So I don't know if D'Lo got eliminated by accident because Mark Henry does like a spot to Brian Christopher to showcase like power. Um, Outside of that, like yeah, it's so chaotic. You don't even know what's happening. Like Kurgan came in and just a lot of missed camera angles. But outside of that, it was cool. I would prefer the old Legion of Doom instead of like the new haircuts, the new barbershop haircuts like you give like young kids. But they tried and then it goes horribly. It, really, really horribly. But it wasn't bad. It was a nice way to start it off because people still really love the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, well, we'll get to what they do to Legion of Doom as we get further along. But as of right now, March of '98, LOD 2000, baby. I love it. Pratik, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was a good way to start the show, kind of a good way to get everybody a payday. I like the intermingling between like some of the older teams like the Rock and Roll Express and then Barry Windham randomly showing up who's not in the match and then does an elimination, which that I think that kind of annoyed me a little bit where like you're not in the match, but even though you go over the top rope by somebody who's not in the match, you're still out. So I didn't like that. That didn't really make sense to me. I think Kyle also mentioned like, yeah, like you are completely eliminated if one of your team members goes, but then they're not really signaling to each other. So yeah, it was again just 1998 camera work wasn't amazing, but still a good car wreck. Not too long. Also, I think it clocks in under 10 minutes, so it gets the job done. Good opener. The crowd is into it again. They're into the chaos of it, and I think yeah, Legion of Doom was the right call. I did not like the helmets. I preferred the old gear as we've mentioned before. But good way to start the show. Crowd is excited. I wish all the competitors had come out in the beginning as opposed to cutting to like half of them already in the ring. Like even if they don't all get intros, like at least just have them walk out at the beginning of the pay per view. So I don't know. I didn't like the way it just kind of cut. I think part of that was because of the America the Beautiful removal. But yeah, it would be nice to see everybody walk out, and then you have two or three teams get an intro, and then you start it. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, good opener, good opener. Up next, Taka Michinoku versus Mr. Aguila, which will one day be Ese Rios, Papi Chulo. And he will usher in Lita, and we all know how that goes. Poor Matt Hardy. Um, so this match is just too short. It's 6 minutes. It doesn't really get going. You know, if you're gonna do this, if you're really gonna do this, you got to give them time. You can say what you want about WCW. You can say that they didn't push these guys, but you know, Psychosis. You book Psychosis and like La Parka on a pay per view. They're getting at least 9 minutes. These guys don't even have 6 minutes. So there's only so much they can do. Plus, I do feel like the WWE brass was probably wanting them to be more WWE style than WCW cruiserweight style. But again, if you're gonna hamper all them like this, don't even fucking do it. I mean, you could have gave the Truth Commission a match with the Rock and Roll Express. Um, I'm not a fan. Kyle, your thoughts?
It was quick. I mean, I like Taka. I like Essa Rios. Could have been better. Wasn't the worst. Wish it had more time. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that stood out about WCW's cruiserweight division over WWE's is there were so many personalities and people that you just remembered. I mean, Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, Psychosis. Even if Psychosis wasn't the most charismatic person, he had the horns and the shoulder pads, the horns. He had that look. Super Calo had a Kangol hat. You remember these people's faces and name. La Parka is La Parka. WWE's, you knew Taka, and that was it. It was whoever Taka Michinoku was facing. And I think that was the bigger reason that it did not work out because there's no one to latch on to. So this is not a match that people were like super hyped for, and not a match that they wanted to give that much time to. So it just is what it is, but good for both of them for making it on WrestleMania.
Yeah, yeah, good for them making a WrestleMania. You could never take away from Taka. He has a big win on one of the most important WrestleManias. Whereas Bret Hart just was a loser winning belts where nobody cared. All right, here we go. The Rock gives, I think, his most
And
important.
Pratik steak.
Oh, Pratik, I'm sorry, Pratik. How dare you? Your thoughts? But I know he's racist against Taka. Pratik, your thoughts on this?
No, I think I feel like the crowd wanted to get into this more, but they weren't given enough time. And then Aguila or Mr. Aguila, he just wasn't given an intro. Like it just felt rushed. But the spots that were there were great. And then Jerry Lawler's racist commentary. He makes like he calls Taka Michinoku a kamikaze pilot at one point. Uh, he says about Aguila. He says like make like Taco Bell and run for the border. Like oof. Like so some of that commentary does not hold up. But the match itself, I wish they'd gotten a bit more time to breathe. The spots itself were fine. I feel like the crowd was trying to get into it, but they just weren't. It just the company didn't treat this match as they could have, because the crowd wanted to get into it. They could have given it
Yeah,
more time, it would have been fine. But still, not a bad match.
yeah, yeah. I agree that they want to get into it, but they weren't giving them much. They weren't giving them. Well, as soon as I kind of felt like as soon as I kind of was like, okay, let's go, it was over, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, this is why this didn't work. All right. Up next, I think Rock's most important interview up to this point. Jennifer Flowers interviews him about what he would do as the president. His incredibly cruel comments seem much kinder than our current president, but The Rock doesn't want the homeless near him, and and to sum it up, The Rock doesn't want the homeless on his property, or they'll be murdered. And also, if the interns don't blow him, he's going to lay a smackdown on them, which means he's going to beat the shit out of his female interns if they don't give him a blowjob. But can you do this now? No. But The Rock's charisma is just second to none. Great interview. This is almost, I think, more important for him becoming who he is than his actual match on this show. Kyle, your thoughts?
It seemed like a really long Bill Clinton joke from back. Just seemed like they wanted to do another one of those jokes. But I think the most important thing to come from that is that I think that's the first time he says, "If you smell what I'm cooking." I want to say that's the very first time he says it. Could be wrong, but I remember that's the first time I remember hearing that and being like, "Oh."
Yeah,
So that is what eventually becomes his big catchphrase from this ridiculous Jennifer Flowers interview. But it's definitely a time capsule of a segment. The Rock's entertaining in it, and that's all you can really ask for.
yeah. Good times, good times. Up next, oh boy.
You keep forgetting to get Pratik's takes on.
Because Pratik, yeah, he hates Samoans too. I heard. All right, Pratik.
It definitely smells like a Russo segment. It smells like a hey, we have to throw in this pop culture zeitgeist thing. So yeah, it's a clunky segment that wouldn't work today, but at the same time, it is a good time capsule thing to see the rise of the Rock. Yes, I believe it is the first time he uses that. It's so full circly because the Rock uses this phrase, "Do you smell the Rock's cooking?" It's become iconic. And then you had Barack Obama when they did that little presidential Raw thing. You actually got Barack Obama saying, "Do you smell what Barack is cooking?" So it went from Rock using it as a joke for a president to an actual presidential candidate, then became president using it. So you have to include it on the paper, and you have to watch it if you haven't seen this pay per view because it is important to the iconography of the Attitude Era and the rise of the Rock. So while wouldn't work today, good for the time, and you need it for the history of the Rock.
I think it was the greatest moment of my life watching this. All right. Up next, boy. Look, I think at the time people were annoyed that Owen lost. I kind of feel like you got to have Triple H win because of what's going to happen the next night. If Triple H lost and Shawn Michaels lost, it doesn't work as well as it does because Triple H basically kicks Shawn Michaels to the curb. It's Triple H versus Owen Hart. Sergeant Slaughter is handcuffed to China. Boy, Sergeant Slaughter, you know, we can also be like, if we want to retcon the story, one of the reasons why Vince becomes an annoying character is that Sergeant Slaughter has to be the worst fucking commissioner in the history of wrestling. I mean, he just does nothing and then gets the shit beat out of him. I don't know, like Adam. I feel like at this point, Adam Pierce would have suspended China without pay. Like, no, you can't just beat the shit out of me. Like, you fucking idiots. Um, it's Triple H versus Owen Hart. I'm going to give this lesson to every wrestler. because it worked out. Triple H, if you give Triple H an inch, he takes 20 miles. And I've been noticing it more and more throughout 97. We see it even today. That's the way to be. I know it's selfish and people are going to call you out. It worked out in the end for Hunter, didn't it? Didn't it? He's running everything. Triple H takes everything he can from Owen. The match is good. The finish comes when China throws Mr. Fuji's salt in Sergeant Slaughter's eyes. Triple H pins him. He poses. He's everything Triple H won. But again, what I noticed in this match is every time Owen like gave him an inch to get over, Triple H took it all. He didn't leave anything on the table for Owen. And you know what? I think sometimes you have to be like that. But it was good. It was good. It wasn't the greatest, but it was very good. It's nice to see Owen again in singles. He's been in like these tag matches for so long, and it was good to see him back at singles. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this one you mentioned the Hulk Hogan thing. It's a positive mention of Bret Hart too. When he goes for the sharpshooter, Jim Ross mentions using the sharpshooter made popular by his brother Bret, and no like bullshit about Montreal or anything like that. Just a random Bret Hart reference. Yeah, it was just kind of there, but it was needed if we all knew what was gonna happen. I assume knew what was gonna happen, so Triple H had to go over to then start this new DX and have that momentum. It just kind of sucks for Owen Hart as a character as a whole. I mean, he gets over it when he's in the nation and finds his footing again, but the whole Blackheart era just did not work out. Another thing, it just did not work out because I think they just didn't want two rebellious Stone Cold Steve Austins at the same time. It could have been
Mm-hmm.
a really big main event push for Owen, but that was just not the agenda. So it just guess good for Triple H. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of Triple H's in the world. There are Triple H's in your jobs in stand-up comedy. You see a lot of Triple H's that are just there, and then they're like, okay, well, now this guy's headlining somehow. So sometimes you gotta be the Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
Get your own 2K26 cover that way.
That's ridiculous.
You get three 2K26 cover.
I know. It's just so funny the way he is. Pratik, your thoughts on it?
$150.
I
I
yeah, it
didn't buy
was
it yet, so.
no, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, it was a good. I wanted to like this more. I think, yeah, just the finish. I understood what storyline it does make sense, but man, when he put that sharpshooter on, the crowd like went nuts. Like it could have been a good and just like 4 months ago, pre Montreal, like Owen was like a big old heel. He basically injured Austin, like might have ended his career, but like yeah, he had this nice little. The crowd was getting on his side. Could have been a potential face run. Could have been great for him. He could have used the win, but that's just not where the cards went at the time. It's a bit more bittersweet given that he passed away the next year. So I think that's why it's a little harder for me to enjoy that finish. But yes, the match itself was fine. Yeah, I didn't like the constant beatdown of Slaughter. It really didn't make sense. It did make sense, but it just made an authority figure look so pathetic, and I just there could have been a different way to do that. But the match itself, the work in the ring was great. I like how they started before the bell, kind of like it meant like it felt like a good feud. Was that the end of the feud, or did they have another? Was there any other
They,
match?
they have two more matches on the next pay-per-views.
Okay, good. So yeah, so that kept going. So yeah, it felt like there was some care in this feud. So yeah, while I didn't like the finish, I understood where it was going for the story. So it was still fine. It worked out well and good positioning too.
Yeah, really good. Awesome stuff. Next up, we got this is actually my favorite match of the show. It's Goldust and Luna versus Mark Merrow and Sable. Um, the thing. Oh, okay. The thing about this, and I talked about this with Kyle when we did No Way Out, is that people just really downplay Sable. They really love to just downplay that she meant nothing, that she was just about tits, and no women wrestled until like we got rid of her, and it's just not true. It's just not true. This match is a great match, and people went to this match to see Sable kick ass. There was a fear: is she going to get beat up? Is she going to get beat up? She kicks ass in this match. She has a lot of fire for her first time wrestling at WrestleMania. She does an incredible job, and also her outfit. It's not to titillate, it's less revealing than like what Liv Morgan or like fucking Sky Blue wear every fucking day, you know? It's not to titillate. The match is terrific. Mark Marrow and Goldust prove why they're pros. The crowd is on their feet. They love it. I thought this was a great mixed tag match. And for someone who's never wrestled before, had no interest in wrestling, was just a housewife that Vince fell in love with when she walked through the office, I thought she did a terrific job. I love this match. Everyone should go back and rewatch this match. And after this, the women always have matches at WrestleMania. There's never WrestleMania where women don't have matches. And I think that, when Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks want to be like, oh, I made event at WrestleMania, they got to give this match credit. Because if this match stunk, I don't know if it would have came to that. That you can put a direct line from this match to Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair. I really enjoyed it. Kyle, your thoughts?
Sorry. Yeah, I think it was a good let's give a testament to everybody included in the match because with
Yeah.
Mark Marrow, Goldust, and Luna Vachon, all pros at what they do, help somebody like Sable, who was an amateur, look great in the match. But no, the crowd was on, it was probably one of the most excited they were for this match. They were begging for Sable to get in the ring. Like they were just begging for it. She got in the ring and she did a good job. She did her job well. She had good dance partners and it worked. It worked extremely well. So it was an entertaining match to watch and I think people could look at that again and like study that when doing like mixed tag team matches my head's going back to the WrestlePalooza match. I don't know if they did a little bit of that with Punk and AJ because I remember AJ wasn't in the ring for a while, and then they finally tagged her in, and then the crowd went nuts. So maybe they are, maybe someone did study that match, but no, it is a definitely slept on match, definitely entertaining match, and Sable, for whatever reason, whether it's political or her own doing, should get more credit in the WWE, but she just doesn't.
Yeah. No, and you would think that because
Her
she's
own
very.
choosing.
I think it's her choosing. I think so. I think her and Brock. Brock wants her on the farm, ready for his beck and call. So critique your thoughts.
Yeah, it's one of those things, when I watched this pay-per-view as a kid, I didn't really appreciate this match, but as an adult, I can appreciate, yeah, like this is a great example of a mixed tag match, and I don't think mixed tags do what this match does. And it's paced really well. Like you guys have said, everybody plays their part well. My understanding is when Luna Vachon got to the back, the only person who congratulated her was Owen Hart or said like, "Hey, great, thanks for making Sable look well." So yeah, again, we have to pay credit to everybody in the match because everybody played their part and everybody made all the veterans did their job to make Sable look well. Because yeah, that crowd when Sable finally gets in the ring, like that crowd goes nuts, So everybody it was like a play almost, like everybody did their part, and it wasn't also the other thing is a lot of these mixed tag matches they kind of like focus on one. It almost becomes like two singles matches as opposed to like a unified tag. So I think this is a great example of good chemistry. Everybody comes together. It didn't just feel like disconnected at times, and it wasn't a bloated match. It was the right amount of time and placed well in the middle of the card too. Yeah, and it's part of what makes the entire undercard amazing. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. Up next, I don't remember. This is like something like I almost feel like it was a Mandela effect because I remember this match being really long, and it's not at all. We got The Rock versus Ken Shamrock, with an appearance by Double J because you need Double J at WrestleMania. I mean, it's not WrestleMania without Jeff Jarrett. Um, but yeah, it's only 4 minutes and 51 seconds where Shamrock gets him with the ankle lock to win the belt, and then he won't take it off. He's attacking officials. One official looks like an AI. Looks like AI created a Vince McMahon. Like I never seen that before or since. So you just see the guy in the suit that Ken Shamrock really throws and he oversells, like a young guy. He looks like an AI Vince McMahon. He looks like he tell AI to draw Vince, and this is what it comes up with. But the big moment of this, and it gets a big pop, is Farouk runs to the ring, seemingly to save The Rock. The Rock is, please help me, Farouk, and Farouk just walks away, and the crowd pops. And this is more of an angle. This is the setup the next night. that net tomorrow, the Raw the night after is very important. I mean, it essentially establishes The Rock, Austin, and Triple H as the main guys going forward. So this is more of a setup for the Raw than an actual match. Uh, but I mean, The Rock's facial expressions and the storytelling is pretty good. But again, for WrestleMania, I was like, oh, I thought Rock wrestled like, I thought he wrestled like 15 minutes before the finish hit happened. But whatever. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I also thought it was a really long match. That when I was younger, I don't know why I thought it was so long. But I thought it was like really, really long. I didn't know it was that short. I remember the reverse decision, and you can even hear fans booing when Ken Shamrock like wins the match because I think they were just supporting The Rock at that time. They didn't want. It was also Boston, but they didn't want Ken Shamrock to become Intercontinental Champion. They were ready to start supporting The Rock. Which is funny because then they were cheering when Farouk actually like left the Rock abandoned. Maybe they just didn't like Ken Shamrock, but it was cool. It was a good moment, and it definitely sets the future for what's gonna happen between The Rock, Farouk. Ken Shamrock kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but it was cool, and it was a nice like little swerve. I could do without Jeff Jarrett, who is now back to his shiny shirt, jacket, and hat and no longer wearing his weird NWA colors. I don't know what happened there, but I guess like they just reset him. Uh, why was he there?
I
He
think they
needs
just
something
had.
to do.
I think Vince wanted to give everybody something to do besides Vader, because
Yeah.
Vader was. So I think they just like
Well,
just
Vader was hit with a wrench. I'm not coming back if I get hit with a wrench either.
yeah, yeah. But I think like Vince just wanted to give everybody a payday. I think it's more kindness on his behalf.
Everybody was Vader. It's like a
Uh,
Homer Simpson thing.
he's with Tennessee Lee, who was like what I mean. He man, that guy like I'd be watching some of these old WCW pay-per-view shows, and he would just add like a stench of indie loserness to it, and he's there like
Oh, I remember Mr. Robert Parker.
yeah. I'm like okay. So yeah, I don't know. He's trying to make Jeff Jarrett work. But here's the thing that I think Tony Khan learned: you can't make him work.
Yeah.
So it's over. It's been over for years, and he ruined my life, quite frankly. Uh, yeah, Pratik, your thoughts on this match?
No, yeah, it was a star making match for The Rock, and kudos to Ken Shamrock. Yeah, I remember again, like you guys have said, I thought it was longer. I think it was just everything with the reverse decision or everything. It just kind of melded together. But yeah, it's a star making performance. I like that the post match like throwing him into the the DX band equipment that's still out there. Like we don't take our equipment away, we leave it out. You're just gonna ram the Rock in there. Yeah, I like the angle, everything. Good storyline. I think Mania matches need a bit more storyline, kind of post match, whatever, kind of leading to the next night. I think sometimes modern day Mania matches don't always have like, or maybe they're the start of a new feud, whereas this was kind of like they had been feuding already. They had a couple pay per views, and now they're kind of this is like leading to the next chapter. Like this is the climax. So I think more Mania matches could be like sort of a climax to a feud. And yeah, I thought this was great. I think we need to take a page of we need to bring some of this energy back. You know.
Yeah. Up next, one of my favorite matches on the show. Again, New Age Outlaws versus Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. This WrestleMania, when I was a kid, I was interested like how many old NWA heads got on this show. We're talking not just Rock and Roll Express, Terry Funk, Barry Windham comes out, Tennessee Lee. It's a lot of like WCW, NWA guys having their moment. I mean, even Dustin Rhodes versus Mark Merrow was a WCW match, and they're getting their moment to shine. And this is like a show like we're moving forward, but some of these old guys got like, I mean, Ted, this is I mean, he only had two. This is Terry Funk's best WrestleMania match. So, like it's interesting how many of like the old school guys got on this. This is a lot of fun. This is like a really fun hardcore match. It's short. They don't go too overboard. Like they don't light each other on fire. They're not fucking putting syringes up each other's assholes. It gets the job done. It gives Cactus Jack Terry Funk a happy ending before it's all ruined the next night on Raw when they start the new DX. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. Again, I actually think this might be Foley's best WrestleMania match. I know he loves that Edge match. I'm not a big fan of it. Um, I really enjoyed it. Kyle, your thoughts?
I thought it was good. That was a good match. I think it's another one that's kind of underrated, that dumpster match. It was fun. It was fun. It was plunder. It was violent, but not like too violent. And this isn't I know you said the syringes thing. I'm not taking a shot at AEW there. It worked. It worked. The good guys got their revenge that they needed to get the revenge for before it all comes crashing down the next day. But everything about it worked. Also, I saw someone in the crowd wearing the Charlie pantyhose over their face, so I guess he was getting over because somebody was rocking their own personal pair of pantyhose on their head, which I guess dedication. Good for you.
Actually, that was Tony Khan.
Could have been. He was a big fan.
He flew up.
Pretty
Like if there was a Chainsaw Charlie today, there would be selling pantyhose in the shop, and they'd be somehow selling saws in that fucking shop. They would have merchandised everything back then.
Fanatics pantyhose, $40.
Special pantyhose that were probably made for 2 cents, and they're charging them for like $25. It's they have everything. They have fucking Dominic toilet paper. It's fucking wild. But yeah, this match itself, great. I remember it as a kid, loved it. Still amazing. Yeah, it's definitely. I don't think this gets mentioned much in like the history of Mick Foley, Mankind's matches, and it's an amazing match. Good to see Terry Funk on the card. Everybody played their role well. And I like that the weapons. It wasn't like gratuitous like nowadays. Like every weapon meant something. Every move meant something. There was again story and psychology even in a hardcore match like this, every moment mattered. Good guys versus bad guys, like it all kind of came together. And again, good placement on the card too. You don't want to throw this earlier in the card. You want to kind of save this, kind of towards the middle where the crowd is getting tired. Whereas like I believe like at Mania 40 they did like the ladder match or TLC match. They did it like early in the card. And it's like you don't want to shoot your load too early. So you need to again, good placement. Everything was timed right. Everything was placed right. And again, like we're seeing, like this is how you book a pay per view, a super card. So yeah, again, great job. Still holds up. Everything fine.
Yeah, I, I I really enjoyed it. Now, I think it's before the Undertaker match. There's a promo, which again, when I was a kid, I loved, and I love it now. The, so all these promo packages, the voiceover was redone. You have to go like on YouTube and see the original ones. But this one is about the '70s wrestlers. That they're basically like they were stars in their day, and now it's time to move on. And they cheer for them, and they didn't do the crazy moves. To this day, when Ernie Ladd says, "I can still hear the crowd chanting my name," I'm not an Ernie Ladd guy. I don't fucking go back. But you know what? Just the way they edited and that moment got me so like emotional for something that I don't have any knowledge of. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's that's not Ernie Ladd's not my childhood. It's barely like some of our parents' childhood. But like the way he's like standing and it's over, but it's okay that it's over because we're on this exciting new journey. Um, that's the thing that gets me about this show. I think the whole thing about the show is like, oh, it's attitude, but there's like a respect for the past and not just WWF's past, but the entire past that and like this sadness almost like we can't go back to 70s Madison Square Garden WWF, but it was wonderful when it was there, and now it's time for Val Venus to get his penis chopped off. And I think like there's just like this really nice like it's almost like Vince saying goodbye to how he used to do things, and I've got to go down this road now so I can get to Janelle Green. And I don't know, it just that promo, especially right before the two main events, I really liked that promo, and it was a great placement. And it's so hard because I feel like the '70s in 1998 was like a million years ago, and now I feel like 2006 was like last Tuesday. So I don't know if you could do like a video package like this with Carlito and John Cena, speaking like it's still hear the crowd chanting my name. You were just on the show last week. But I really liked it. Kyle, your thoughts on the video package with Ernie Ladd and Gorilla and all those guys?
No, it was really well done. WWE knows how to make a great tug at your heart video package. I think we should take notes because we're gonna have to do that as comedians for when the next big TikToker has to do the stage and be like, "Oh, it used to be my time. Now it's their time." We're gonna have to do as they do the Comedy Village. We'll have to do that someday. I hope that never happens. But no, it was really, really well done. And I don't know if it was David Sahidi who did these yet. I don't know if he was working with them yet because he was like the master of those. It was him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was the master of those video packages. Even when he went over to TNA, and I think he went to AEW, he made these incredible video. He just knows how to do them, and that was great. And it was also great. It was a great ushering into the Attitude Era.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Pratik.
Yeah, you can't move forward without looking at your past. And I think, yeah, once again, like WWE, WWF, they're amazing at doing these video packages. They know how to, treat their history respect. I think, especially now with Triple H at the helm, they do a lot of good stuff, like just paying respect to everybody. And again, this is a good example of that. And you're right, like we don't think about this stuff. We just think like, oh, this is the Attitude Era and dumpsters and whatever. But like, no, there were a lot of good little Easter eggs and tributes to the old guard, and I think that's what you need to do, especially at something like Mania. That's why I like that the Hall of Fame. I know you mentioned earlier Hall of Fame and SummerSlam, but I think it makes sense that the Hall of Fame is done during Mania weekend because it is a good way to kind of pay respect to the past. So yeah, again, great package, good little insight into the history of wrestling, and again, these are those moments that I'm glad they didn't take all that out. I think if you're trying to go back and watch this pay per view, you get those little time capsule snapshots of the past, and you need those. So yeah, keep it in.
Keep it in. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Okay, up next. Um, Very surprising how much I like this match. I remember Pro Wrestling Illustrated saying this was the best match of the show, and as a kid I was like, that's just your after mag bullshit. That this match wasn't that good, but no, it's pretty good. It is Kane versus Undertaker. First off, I think one of the best things they've ever done, and this was another way to be like things are changing. We're doing Pete Rose's promo. First off, first rate promo, fucking excellent promo. And then his beatdown on Kane, brilliant move. The crowd goes nuts. They never had a celebrity get beat up by a wrestler before, and this was the perfect guy to do it with. And it kind of lets you know, like, hey man, like, because you watch WrestleMania when you're like, all right, Liberace's safe, Joan Rivers is safe. But imagine like King Kong Bundy just fucking splash Joan Rivers, right? You know what I mean? It's like, oh my god, like they're not safe actually.
No.
Yeah, poor Joan Rivers. So I really like that Pete Rose thing. So before we get into the match, actually, I'll just talk all about it. Um, you know, I this match at the time I thought Kane should have won. Obviously, now that we get to 2014, it was the right move. But the way that they get Kane over this match while still getting Undertaker over was fantastic. I mean, both guys leave just as over as they were when they Kane loses nothing from losing. Undertaker loses nothing from getting beat up post match. Um, it's a really good match. I mean, you got to consider this guy was fake Diesel a year ago, and now he's like having the second best match at WrestleMania. It's a really strong match. And, again, I think the lesson with Kane and DDP is you don't write off people right away. Like that you can adjust them and make them into superstars. And in Kane, you get 20 years out of it. So, I mean, overall, the whole thing from Pete Rose to the finish, I think as of this moment, as of this 1998, this is Undertaker's best WrestleMania match by far. Nothing comes close to it in his WrestleMania match catalog so far. I loved it. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's better than I think people give it credit for. I think I saw somebody a couple months ago on Twitter talk about how it's an overrated, slow plotting match because it's a lot of what Twitter does now, especially if the political views don't align. And trust me, I don't align with Undertaker or Mark or Glenn's political views in the slightest, but they still did the work. They still did the work in the ring. Like you can't take away what a good match from a good match, or good feud from a good feud. And the original Undertaker Kane is one of the best feuds WWE ever put together. Even the video package that they did before doing that before showing you just shows like when they have an executed plan like that, how good a feud and match can be. I still remember when I was younger and I heard in the video package, I will walk through the fires of hell to face you, Kane. Like it was awesome. Like you remember that stuff. And they really brought it. They were jumping off of shit. They were diving. They were doing more cruiserweight stuff than the cruiserweights. But it was a really good match. Even though Kane lost, he got his revenge, and then there's still more to come with these two going at it in their very, very long history. So it is, I don't know if it's the best match on the show. I didn't really think that far about that, but it is definitely a highlight in both of their careers and Undertaker's best WrestleMania match. Maybe Kane's best WrestleMania match, unless you like Raven getting thrown through the glass at WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. So I had a great time with it. But Pratik, your thoughts?
Yeah, this might be Kane's for a singles match at Mania. This might be Kane's best showing. Yeah, politically notwithstanding, I don't want to talk about Glenn or Mark's political leanings, but man, I was especially as a kid, like especially Kane in his like that early form, so agile. At one point, I thought, and maybe this might be a controversial thing, but at one point, I thought Kane had a better choke slam than the Undertaker. Just the way he lifted guys up, it was so crisp. I was a big Undertaker. I was a big Kane fan as a kid. That's why it's so disappointing now that I can't get into Mayor Glenn or whoever, corporate Glenn Kane, wherever the fuck he is now. Fuck all that. But yes, again, this match was amazing. And again, it's that thing of the storyline lined up perfectly. I won't fight you, and then finally I'm gonna fight you. Then you have this match, and it. I think the problem with some of the matches today where they don't feel like you can extend this feud. Like you have a match and it feels like okay, party's over, lead balloon deflates. No, this match ends. You have a victor, but the feud continues for months and months on end. Like they wrestle what, like rest of 1998. It feels like they're constantly going back and forth, making it special. The feud just doesn't deflate at all. There are new twists and turns again, like storytelling meets match work meets character work. And yeah, I think it's one of the better storylines of the WWF era is this Kane Undertaker Brothers of Destruction. And then later they come together too, and the fans love that too. So again, fan is on their feet. Storytelling is great. I think WWE can take a page from that when it comes to just how do you tell long-term storytelling, because I think some of the problems we're seeing with, and not just WWE, all companies, I think just stories just seem to deflate after a while. They can't carry over. And I think this is a perfect example of how you can take a match, you can take two guys, make them, you can have a victor, but nobody comes out looking less than they were. Crowd is on their feet. The crowd is rooting for them. They might even be more of a fan of them after the match. So I think there's something to be said for that. And hopefully WWE can go back to the well and look to something like this, because this is a perfect example of a star making performance and how you carry over a feud and make characters even stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, I really, it's so funny because I feel like they were going back and forth until game day on if Kane should win. And in the moment, I do think Kane should have won. But man, that would have fucked up the streak.
Yeah.
That would have changed so much of history. But when the match is over, like, I feel like Kane should have won that. This is me in '98. I feel like Kane should have won that. But I think that it's so you never can tell. Like, it's just so crazy. Like,
It's also three tombstones. It took three tombstones to beat Kane, so it's not like he lost in 2 seconds.
yeah, I had a good, yeah. So, but man, the streak continues. The streak continues. Up next is the main event, and the Austin era has begun. It is Shawn Michaels versus Steve Austin. This is it for Shawn Michaels for years. Unfortunately, it wasn't it for him for life, which stinks. Um, this match is okay. Sometimes you don't have to be cute. Sometimes you don't have to be clever. You don't have to like try to outsmart your audience. You've got to just get to the desired result. And this match is basically like Sean, you got to go, and Steve, you got to be champ, and we got to get Mike. And that's basically what happens. There's no surprises. There's no like, oh my god, like I think that's to the match's benefit and also to its hindrance. I never was a huge fan of this match because I just felt like it was going through the motions. But at the same time, it is an extremely important uh, motion. They had to get the belt on Austin to get Shawn Michaels out of there. They had to get rid of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart to move forward. So I like the match. Do I love the match? No, but it had to go down like this. It's kind of like Hogan on Hogan Sheik in MSG in '84. No one's gonna say to you, "Oh my God, that's the best match in the world." But if they deviate from Hogan just beating up Sheik and then pinning him, the company goes out of business. And the same thing here. You gotta Austin's just gotta hit that stunner, baby, and then we gotta go home and keep going. So I enjoyed it. And it's an iconic. Listen, him holding up the belt has become an iconic image in WrestleMania history. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I've been, there's the whole controversy of Shawn Michaels' back, how bad his back was hurting. He was holding it. He looked exhausted during the match. Despite wrestling a pretty full match and doing a good job at it, we don't know how bad his back actually was. I'm gonna say it was bad. I'm not gonna fall into the conspiracy theories, but yeah, you needed that desired result. I think it's the thing that WCW should have done a couple months ago, where you just get your desired result that people are waiting for with Sting and Hogan. And WWE, maybe they saw that and was like, hey, you know what? Maybe let's not fuck around with our big version of Sting and just let this happen as plain as day. This is it. Stone Cold Steve Austin is our guy moving forward. I remember there was controversy after Mike Tyson put the shirt over Shawn Michaels' face, and Shawn was like pissed because that wasn't supposed to happen. And he like stormed into the press conference and was like very angry, and then we didn't see him for a while. So there's just a lot going on with just behind the scenes of the match, that I think has taken over people's thoughts and opinions on the match now, just knowing the rumored Undertaker tape fist and all the other stuff that we've heard over the years. But I think it's not a bad match. It's not an amazing match. It's a match. I start laughing because I'm thinking of The Simpsons when they had an episode once. It's like, Marge, I don't understand. Is this a good ending or a bad ending? He's like, it's an ending. And that's and that's exactly what this is. It's an ending. You got it. Now we're moving on to the Attitude Era. So good job. That's all I can say.
Yes. Critique your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't want to say that it's a bad match because it's still a great match. There are some good moments throughout the match. It's obviously the ending is memorable. You don't forget Tyson's fast count. The controversial fast count take. Yeah, I think maybe it was just you can see those moments where Michael just looks injured and just looks a little rusty. The cracks are showing a bit, but still, like even as what this might be the seventh or eighth time I've watched that match, I still got into it. So I know for me, like I was still able to enjoy it, still go for the ride, as they say. Again, like all the pieces came into place when it came to like you had Michaels, you had Austin, you had you know Mike Tyson, who again was such a big figure in pop culture at the time too, for them to be able to include them in this, and you had the whole storyline there. It still works for me. It's still a fantastic. You need this as sort of like the history of WWF's rise. So yeah, I'm still giving the match itself like 4.5 out of 5. Yes, there's some issues with whatever you can say, technicality, whatever, but they took me on the ride. I still enjoyed it, and the ending is still, it's an iconic moment. And yeah, I know there was some stuff with Michael trying to didn't like Shane McMahon like restrain Michaels or something at one point. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah,
Like
there's so many weird stories
so many
about it.
different
I,
lore
Well,
about it too.
do the job. You don't want to do the job, and then Taker basically started like taping up. It's like I'm gonna punch, I'm gonna knock, I'm gonna fuck you up if you
Oh
like.
yeah, if you don't behave. So
but I think they denied that on like the Undertaker's podcast, uh,
Why they,
BC before McCool.
they deny it
People
because
hate it now.
they deny it now because they're all working together to ruin
they're all
Mexico.
conspiring together.
Yes. But yeah, it was crazy at the time. Also, funny enough, this a fast count was an actual fast count, and Starcade, the fast count was a regular count. If we just
Well,
switch
The
those,
worst fans
yeah,
count.
yeah, if we switch those counts, we wouldn't have these issues.
but all in all, like the next night, that next Raw, that segment with Vince and Austin is terrific, and Vince I rewatched that segment, man. If the changes from September '97 to April of '98, that first segment where they start off, they basically like we're still living off that segment today. The Austin, like the easy way, the hard way. Vince is so fucking good in it. Like I remember seeing it and not like, what am I seeing? Like this guy is just a doofus. Like he's so good, and I mean, he kind of like overplayed it eventually. When you get to 2003, I'm kind of sick of Vince. Go back to the, but like for those first few, and Austin playing off him, it's just magic. And then X Pac coming back, and then The Rock turning on Farouk, and then the new DX, and then I was so happy back then that Shawn Michaels was gone because I was like, oh my god, like this is like a new, this is like a real, this is the real new generation. This is the generation that I can get behind. That next Raw just can't. What I think it's the most important Raw in WWF history because it establishes a new world order of professional wrestling.
New,
Uh,
new.
have you rewatched any of that Raw lately, guys? Kyle, I'll start with you.
Not in a little while. Just a job that I've had to do in the past. I had to watch some archived Raw, so I remember just trying to pick out big moments. So I remember that from like a couple of years ago. You mentioned X-Pac. Mike Tyson's theme song is like a prototype of X-Pac's theme song when he comes out, the DX run. It's
That's
like
true.
Xbox theme, but like I guess like the original version. But no, it's one of those Raw after WrestleManias. When you think of Raw, people don't really think of that with the Raw after WrestleMania, but that is one of the, it's that and Mankind, which are like the origin of the big Raw after WrestleMania. Like something big is gonna happen on the Raw after WrestleMania, and that might be the first huge Raw after WrestleMania, where it's surprise after surprise, where this is gonna be a new landscape. It's that Raw.
Can I tell you the other big thing in that moment? It was when X Pac says Scott Hall and Kevin Nash would be here. They want to be here. They're being held hostage. And I'm like, wait a minute, is the NWO and the DX going to merge into like this maker group to destroy Steve Austin? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, if everybody just wanted to make money together and not be greedy, they could have done that. But that's not how any of that works, as we know.
and but you know what's so funny to me is that like, we put on Nitro to see if Kevin Nash and Scott Hall would be like, because if I was Bishop, I'd be like, we're not going anywhere. We're NWO for life, and they never Nash and Hall never say like I they never say they don't not want to go to WWE. They just never mention it. So like in my mind, I was like thinking to myself, oh, Nash and Hall, they really want to go to WWE. Like they really want to be here. They don't want to be there anymore. And you know what else? You know who else? Again, it's so funny knowing now they work together. So they would have a hotline segment on ECW television for a
Hmm.
month. Paul Heyman's voiceover or Joey Styles' voiceover would be like more on Kevin Nash being held hostage in WCW and hired to go back to WWF. And so Vince had Heyman carry that narrative on his show that Kevin Nash doesn't want to be there at all. And and if you notice, that's the most Nash ever gets over is 1998. I mean, he's super over that summer. He's the fucking man. And as a face, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, maybe it was a whole click ploy to make him the top guy, give him more money, have his
Yeah,
boys say one thing, and then the next thing you know, Kevin Nash is on top of the world in WCW.
we did it, Austin. We did it. All right. So that's WrestleMania. I recommend watching it. It's on Netflix now. Kyle, your thoughts?
It's an underrated show. I haven't watched it in full in a long time. I think it's a show that gets pretty slept on when you think of all the WrestleManias, because you just hear Attitude Era, so you think it's like WrestleMania 15 or 16. It's not. It's a really good show. So definitely go check it out.
Critique, your thoughts?
Yeah, it doesn't get brought up in the conversation of great WrestleManias, and it's funny how people think like 15 and 16. 16, while it's a great show, I think this well surpasses 16 for an Attitude Era Mania. And yeah, I think people definitely need to go back and watch this now that it's on Netflix. I encourage everybody to go back and watch it. It's a good, if the stars that you love, you get to see them. Obviously, they were doing things already. I don't want to take away the work they did in '97, but you're kind of seeing their ascension to the main event scene. You're seeing the moves and the seeds being planted for these main eventers, and so yeah, it's a great time capsule to watch. And I encourage everybody to go back. If you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it. Yeah, I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 overall.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's go over the next 4 weeks. Next week it's Spring Stampede '98, and that is going to entail the main event of Sting versus Macho Man. In 2 weeks, it's Unforgiven '98, and that main event will be Dude Love versus Steve Austin. In 3 weeks, it's WrestlePalooza, and we'll talk about that off air. The main event of that is ECW WrestlePalooza, Al Snow versus Shane Douglas. And in 4 weeks, it's Slamboree '98 with a main event of Sting and the Giant versus the Outsiders. Kyle, what are you looking forward to?
Oh boy. I think I'm gonna say Spring Stampede '98 because I think if my memory serves me correctly, that is the brief Psychosis babyface run where he's facing La Parka. They break up as a team, and while it's not match of the year, I loved the brief babyface Psychosis run. There's also like I saw years later, there's a Thunder where that Psychosis is feuding with the flock. The whole flock. It's just a feud on Thunder, Psychosis versus the flock. And he's fighting Kidman, and then he's gonna win the match, but then Parker hits him with a chair. But after hitting him with a chair, Parker does the thing on the apron, and it just makes me laugh. But so Spring Stampede, just for my boys, Psychosis and Parker.
My God. What are you thinking about? What are you excited for Teak?
Yeah, Unforgiven and Spring Stampede, especially the undercard, because I really don't remember the undercard for either of those pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, it should be fun. All right, guys. I'm looking forward to the two WCW shows. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm anxious to see when they become garbage. So who wins March? I say WWF wins March.
Yeah, I'll get yeah. Yeah, I don't no debate there.
Yeah, for Teak.
Yeah, WWF wins March, but again, like the undercard for uncensored was amazing. It's better than I expected, but WWF has to get the win.
Yeah. All right. So let's review. Oh, we already did that. All right. Let's give plugs. Kyle, give us a plug, brother.
Character Select Comedies have a very busy February, February 7th, 21st, and 28th at the stand, 6 o'clock, all three shows. Black Women in Comedy Festival is the 28th one. So if you want to support Black women, go to that one. Go to all of them. Their tickets are all available at the stand. Please come hang out with us and follow me at Keep It Five Star, FIVESTAR. And that's all I got.
All right, Pratik, what do you got to plug?
At Pratik Comedy on Instagram and TikTok, and I have some new dates for February and March. So follow me on Instagram, and you'll see all my dates. And keep supporting this podcast and keep supporting all these guys.
Yeah, support the Goots, baby. All right, guys. That's the show. Please keep please keep checking out the podcast. Follow us, Ray Goots. I guess on TikTok. I don't know. Should I delete it? That's what else doing. Um, I don't know what's
I
going
don't
on.
know anymore. Everyone, they all have our data. I don't know, dude. They all have them already.
You know what? Follow on Instagram. That's where you should follow. Follow Goots' Wrestling Pod on Instagram. There you go. That's follow that. And we'll see you next week for the spring Stampede. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you then.
Thank you.